Hey, what's up, everybody? Wyzatv here with the NXT review. Again, I'm a little bit late on this one, but as I said in last week's NXT review, I am working on making an NXT review catalog. I'm pretty late this week because I just could not find the time in the schedule to get to this review. Very, very busy week. Before we start the review, got a whole bunch of stuff in the description for you. Last video, I put it on the back half of the review. I don't think anybody checked it out. So this time I'm putting it on the front end. We got my Twitter stuff. At Wyzatv. Follow me on Twitter. We do a whole bunch of talking wrestling and talking, whatever you want to talk. Also in the description, you can find a link to my Discord where we have a whole bunch of different channels to chat about, wrestling, sports, hell, if you're an anime fan, video games, all of that stuff we have in the Discord. I have a link for that in the description as well, if you're looking for a forum to talk on. Also, and actually this one is the most important, I do have a Patreon set up. Still have yet to make a formal video about it, but eventually I will. I do have a Patreon set up with a bunch of perks and tiers and fun stuff. And also I do have a project launching, the first Patreon project launching this week. And I do have sneak peeks of it up on the Patreon. If you want to check out the Patreon, you can check out the Patreon free of charge. If you want to pledge, a minimum of $1 will get you the sneak peek to the videos of the Patreon projects. But again, just go over there, check it out, see if there's anything that interests you. If you want to support the channel, it's there for you to do so that we can finally get back on this damn YouTube thing semi-full time. I think that's all the plugs that I need to do. Now I got stuff popping up on my screen. So, there we go. Yes, I got notes, motherfucker. I take notes when it comes to this NXT thing. Not diligent notes, but just, stuff to get me past. All right, we open the show. Instead of calling Drew McIntyre, we're going to call him Drew Mackey. So we open the show with Drew Mackey. He beats up on a jobber. Now, in this match, this jobber screams out. Now, I'm not familiar with his name, but if you look at him from a distance and from the side, he kind of looks like Sami Callihan, but a much skinnier version of him. But he screams out, "I'm not scared of you, Drew." And then Drew McIntyre just stands up and kicks him dead in the face. Just boots him dead in the face. That was the best part of the match. Other than that, this is not one of Drew's best matches because the guy really didn't give him much to work with. His better matches are the matches that he had before this one, especially with the Oney Lorcan. Oney Lorcan's a beast, by the way. After this match, we got, and this is I didn't preface this review by saying this, but this is probably going to be one of the, remember I warned you guys last week of how we're going to have those shorter reviews? This is probably going to be one of them. We got a video package from Ember Moon. Well, not a video package, but we're going to be getting Ember Moon and Peyton Royce next week. They had a piece of art up for that. Then we got an Aleister Black video package. Still no talking, but a very, very good video package showcasing that roundhouse kick that he just uses to knock people's blocks off. This guy's he's a huge talent. If you know him as Tommy Yen, this guy's a huge talent. Very, very cool gimmick. I hope they expand on it, give it some substance rather than just showing it as is. Which is a good segue into our next match, the AOP versus the Jobbers. This is a team who has some sort of gimmick, some sort of character that has not been fleshed out. This right here is the prime example of what I mean when I say hopefully they flesh out Aleister Black's character, because we have AOP. They came in with Paul Ellering with some sort of story that they wanted to build with them. Some sort of we have a goal, what we want to do, and that whole thing, but we still don't know what what's the deal with these guys, right? They're just two big. I think I talked about this last week. They're just two big guys that beat people up. That's all we know about them. We don't even know where these guys are from, as a matter of fact, or why they don't speak English when they're in the ring. They're just yelling at guys in their own language. Like, tell us these things, please. Anyway. It was pretty much a handicap match with Akam just destroying these two guys. Ellering had Razor on the outside of the ring. He was reading him a Bible or some shit. I don't know. I don't know where they're going with this. I don't know why they made this a thing in this match. Maybe it's I don't know. I'm not even going to predict just yet where they're going with it. Something in my mind is telling me some sort of split later on down the road, but I don't know. That's way in the back of my mind. Just way in the back of my mind. But hopefully not, because it's a good tag team. Just wish they could put some more effort into delivering their package. Pause. Moving along, we got a video package from... Oh, no, before we got that video package, we got a face-off with them in Heavy Machinery, because Paul Ellering came in there and started cutting a promo about how they've been called out by Heavy Machinery and they've beaten everybody. Out comes Heavy Machinery, they stare each other down. AOP takes a powder. Then we go to the video package. We got a video package of Daria, or Sonya Deville, or whatever the hell her name is. Fuck her. Yes, they're legitimately going to be pushing the. Let's move along. This is the best picture I can find of her, by the way. It's the best one. She's still ugly. Let's talk about our match of the night. Actually, no, it's not our match of the night, but a very, very good match. You know what? I'm gonna say match of the night here. God damn it! Stop popping up on my screen. You're ruining my review. Excuse me. Go over here. All right. Patrick Clark versus Raul. For those of you who get it, put it in the comment section. But we got Raul. I can't even say it now. Raul Mendoza. And there's a reason why I gave this jobber a name. This guy was great. They need to absolutely keep this guy. I hope he made a very, very good impression on whoever was watching this match. I don't know where he came from. I don't know nothing about him. Again, he's just enhancement talent. I hope they keep this guy and they work him up the way that they worked up Oni Lorcan, because Oni Lorcan was pretty much jobber status and they worked him up to become Oni Lorcan. Hopefully they do the same with this guy, because this guy was great. His timing, his bumping, his moveset. He actually has a moveset. This guy is a jobber. Here I am talking about the jobber, and we have a match with the Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark. But the jobber was great. This is a match I would say definitely go out of your way to watch. And not only because of the jobber, but because of Patrick Clark to the Velveteen Dream. Patrick Clark, I said this a long time back. I didn't say it back during Tough Enough because, you know, we didn't really get to see them work too much. We saw them cut promos and such, in which he was really good at. He also worked some indies matches as well. He did indies. But then they brought him in with the into NXT with the Donald Trump gimmick thing, the Make America Great Again, and then they started making him a little bit gay, you know, and forming his character into the Velveteen Dream. But as I watched these matches of him just being, you know, he was enhancement talent. They wanted to see what he could do. I'm looking, I'm like, yo, he's actually pretty good. Very, very athletic. I mean, if you can't tell by this guy's body, like, I just want like half his body. Like, just like this guy has my body weight, but all muscle. Like, he's absolutely ridiculous. His style of work, right? It almost sort of kind of a little bit reminds me of Goldust, because he plays a very, very flamboyant character, but a very, very aggressive mean streak. His stuff is really, really clean. He can sell his ass off. But when he lays in his work, oh, man. He lays it. He looks stiff. God, I can't put the Velveteen Dream and stiff in the same. God. One take wonder. Look, very good match. Is there another word that we can use besides stiff for this guy? I can't use stiff with the Velveteen Dream and just look like that be cool. Like, you know what? Look, it was a good match. Patrick Clark's finish is Hail to the King, but not a clean one. It's more of a CM Punk style elbow, and Hail to the King is pretty much Macho Man's elbow drop off the top rope, which should still be a finisher. I'm glad that they're actually using it as a finisher. Unlike CM Punk and unlike Bayley, it's actually a finisher for him. And also Hojo, who's going to be coming in. For some reason, they took away the elbow drop from her, but Patrick Clark can use it. And they said that they were taking it away because Bayley uses it and she doesn't even use it as a finish. Hojo's elbow is fucking fantastic. Fantastic. Anyway, I'm glad that they use it to end the match here as his finisher, and it works very well. I like the way he pinned this guy. Like, he didn't put his nuts on his face like Undertaker against Randy Orton, but it's like he just rubbed his body up on him as he pinned him and hooked the leg, and then he looks in the camera and he blows a kiss. He just makes you feel awkward. And then when he gets up, he puts his leg across the guy's face, almost as if his balls is in his mouth. And he stands up that way. I'm like, yo, this guy's mannerisms I was about to say as a faggot, as a flamboyant. Let me move along. Patrick Clark is money. Nonetheless, Patrick Clark is absolute money. I don't think he'll get an NXT title run because I think he'll get called up long before that. We got an Ember Moon video package, and it really made me sad because it still shows off that, you know what? The video package could work. The thing that made me sad is that it reminded me that she's supposed to be this vampire warrior princess. But if you just take that away and you keep her with the look, and I said this last week, you just make her the warrior princess and just give her some sort of backstory, because we still have no backstory for her or AOP or Aleister Black. Give her some type of backstory, and this girl is money because her ring work is great. Her presence is great. For some reason, she's still not connecting with the audience. That's the way I see it. I see it as her not connecting with the audience, but I would definitely hit. We got the triple threat match with the women. And Nikki Cross comes out, no entrance, no sanity music. She just crawls into the ring, making a ruckus. Ruby Riott comes out, and still, this girl's miscasted. She should easily be a heel. Change her music. Kimber Lee. If you could find Kimber Lee's NXT music, it would fit Ruby Riott so much better. And Ruby Riott's music would fit Kimber Lee's entrance so much better. They need to switch. I said this one a long time ago too. They need to switch entrance themes. And then Asuka comes in. And there was one thing that Asuka did. Asuka's a boss. She comes in, and Nikki Cross never left her corner. She never left her corner. So Asuka comes in, and Nikki Cross is in the corner, the camera side corner. And that's usually the corner that Asuka goes into so that she could do her unveiling of the mask gimmick. Nikki Cross was not moving. I loved it. She was not moving. She's kind of, I don't want to say standing her ground because she's still just sitting there. And Asuka's like, fuck out the way. Like, she's fanning her away. You know, like, first she's like signaling her away to move. Like, you know, with her arms, move. Then she finally gets the hint like, oh, I'm camera side. So as she's getting up, she's taking her robe or her cape or whatever that thing is, and she's just fanning it at her. Like, yo, this is too funny. And Nikki Cross has a very, very strong obsession with Asuka. So, you know, that had to be the finish for the match. It had to be them two. This was a pretty good back and forth match. And I want to say this about the crowd before I get into this. The crowd was dead for this entire show. They were at, I don't know how many tapings in they were for this, but the crowd was just dead. Not just for this match, but for all of this stuff. They were dead. The match was pretty good. Just couldn't get the crowd behind it, you know. Several high spots. Nice stiff work there. There was one spot in the beginning where Asuka was dominating the both of them, because she always does that in these sort of matches where she'll dominate everybody that's in the ring, and this time she's just standing there as they're both just pretty much at her feet, and she's like, I'm the champion. It's like, come at me, bring me something stronger. And this is also something I said last week. The thing that Asuka's trying to get across is that she's bored of this division. No one is giving her a challenge. So there they are. There's two of you. There's one of me. Bring it, goddammit. Give me a fight. And I like that part about Asuka's character. Later on in the match, Nikki Cross, she has this finisher. This is her finisher. This was also her finisher. I believe it was Shimmer that she wrestled in, or some women's promotion that she wrestled in. It's like a top rope swinging neck breaker. It's a really vicious finisher. I like it a lot. By the way, if you hear I should have said this at the top of the thing, but if you hear my fan in the background, my apologies. It's fucking scorching hot here in Jersey. But yeah, that finished off Ruby Riott. Then we get the back and forth between ASUKA and Nikki Cross, with ASUKA, you know, pretty much getting the upper hand and dominating at one point. They spill to the outside. ASUKA gets her a hip bump from the apron, and then she gets on the entrance ramp and just starts punching her in the face. Finally wakes her up, and then they brawl to the back. Referee's trying to get them to go back into the ring. They leave. They completely leave and go to the back. Referee calls for the bell. No contest. Does that mean that Ruby Riott didn't lose, or where are we going with that one? I don't know. They take it to the back. They start throwing each other up against the wall and carrying on. Nikki Cross gets the upper hand. She throws ASUKA into the the garage door opening, whatever that thing is. ASUKA finally catches her with a gut shot, and then she just repeatedly throws Nikki Cross's head up against that same garage door opener. Asuka's just a fucking monster. They take it to the inside. Nikki Cross gives ASUKA a swirly in the cooler. Man, speaking of a cooler, I wish I had a cooler right now. I'd give myself a fucking swirly. Then they finally take it back to the to where the fans are. By the way, there was one point where the crowd chanting "Refuse suck," but now they take it back out there, up past the announce table, over to the next set of announce tables, and then they do a crossbody onto a table below them, which wasn't really far, literally about 2 feet off the air, 2 feet up. Pretty much, it would be no different than taking a table spot off of the ring apron. And that right there sent us home. The crowd finally, they got into that part right there when they came back. The crowd was finally alive for it, and I'm glad about that. But I do want to say this about ASUKA in closing, because some people are, in doubt or kind of lingering off the bandwagon of ASUKA. Let me smarten you guys up to something, because for some reason people still don't see what they're doing with ASUKA. ASUKA is no longer being built. ASUKA is who she is. Her undefeated streak is what it is. They announced it. They said how she passed up Bill Goldberg. ASUKA's build has been completed. What they are now doing is taking they're not really investing in ASUKA because she's made. They're using ASUKA as a pedestal. There's no more that they can do with ASUKA. So they're using her, and they're using that title as a pedestal. They're trying to build other women up to reach ASUKA's level. This is why ASUKA is becoming a heel. At the other takeover, you saw her. She's out there. She's signing autographs. She's taking pictures. And then when she gets away from the fans, she's pissed off. Like, oh, I can't believe, she's pissed. Because there's nothing for her here. There's no challenge for her. So now they are building up other women, because if you just have someone beat ASUKA, the end, who else gets the rub? But if you have ASUKA at the level she's at, and you have people that are challenging her, trying to put chinks in their armor, they get the rub from looking good with her. So you're doing that with a Nikki Cross. You're doing that with a Ruby Riott. You're going to be doing that with an Ember Moon who pushed ASUKA to the limit. I hope that they have a match with ASUKA and whoever wins this women's tournament. There's going to be some women. I don't think ASUKA should be called up until, honestly, like, I want to say that until the build for the next WrestleMania, but no, because that's a little too late and that's a little too long of a title run. That's a little too OD. So I'm thinking summer. I don't know when the women's championship or the women's tournament is just before SummerSlam. It's next month, I believe. So eventually they got to start getting ASUKA onto that main roster and start heating her up for Mania. But you don't want to do it too far from Mania because you don't want the crowd to tire of her. You want her to come out and get that big reaction at Mania, and she has to kill somebody at Mania. So I'm thinking around Royal Rumble time, they bring her up, you know, maybe sort of like what they did with the Bayley thing. I don't know when they brought Bayley up, but it was pretty close. Oh yeah, they had her up there for NXT and Brooklyn and all that bullshit. Whatever. Nonetheless, they're going to start phasing Asuka out after they've built up the other women to Asuka's level. And then whoever finally takes that title off of Asuka is going to be $1 million fucking bucks. That's what they're doing with Asuka's character. I don't think that anybody should feel like, oh my God, Asuka, you shouldn't feel that way. Or you shouldn't feel as though they're not doing anything with her character, because they actually are doing a lot with her character. She's Hollywood Asuka now, whereas before she started off as the humble ass kicker. Now she's the Hollywood ass kicker. So they are still developing her character and making it so that if she does get to the main roster, she can play both sides of the fence whenever called upon. But we just have to understand that they are using Asuka to build up the other women. That's all I have for this week's NXT review. Once again, the channel, we need your support. Yeah, we're just going to go on ahead and say it. I need your motherfucking support, motherfucker. Whether it be $1, $5, $10, we got all kinds of tiers. We got $1, $5, $10, $25, $50, and $100 if you want to have my third baby. It's all on Patreon. Read the stuff that we have there. Some pretty good projects coming down the pike. And it can only happen with you guys' support. I pretty much laid out, you know, the things that I've wanted to do, and I can't do it without you guys. So go on ahead over there, check it out. You know, if you can, throw $1 at it. That way, you know, if you can't really support getting those projects going, at the very least, you can see a sneak peek of them just by becoming a $1 Patreon. I'm out of here. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe if you're new. Yeah, follow me on Twitter at Wyzatv, WYZANOW. I've talked long enough. How long is this? God damn it, I thought this was going to be 10 minutes. Fuck, I talk too much.